Okay, let's actually go over these widgets and this portal that I called it before. Um, with the main content settings, you saw me add these two text boxes and actually configure them. But now I kind of want to talk about what each one is, what each one does, and configuring those to work best for you. And so let's go ahead and um, firstly, let's talk about this turquoise area. So I'll delete these two text boxes. And I have this turquoise areas here, and I'm only seeing that because I'm logged in. If I log out here, I'll just log out. You'll see I don't see that anymore, just that back to top. Okay, let me go ahead and log back in. There's that back to top, and I have the turquoise area. So I can configure that by clicking edit layout right here. Change it to a single panel, so one giant turquoise area to throw widgets into, or T-split, three columns or face. And then these ones here are a bit more complicated, double, triple column or maze. You'll see I have a full one, and three columns, and then two columns, and three columns, and another full one. So yeah, it gets pretty complicated the more you scroll down. But I'll just keep it simple with the single panel there. Okay, then I can go ahead and click Add Widget to actually start populating this. And let me just take this time to actually reiterate. This is a portal page. You can think of a portal page as an actual sci-fi portal, and actual sci-fi portals, they connect one area with another area. Basically, they connect two points together. This portal here will connect this home page with every single module available in Cyberschool. If it's your calendar module, your news module, blog module, bookings module, jobs module, forums, uh, um, what else is there? Podcasts. And then we have what I call like standalone widgets. So everything, every module I just mentioned, bookings, jobs, forums, news, calendar, I already said blogs, podcasts, you can add as many of those as you'd like, and it will always display the same information because it's all pulling from the same source. Now you can add what I call standalone widgets, such as the countdown, text box, accomplishments, links, not quick icons actually, slideshows. Those are all standalone widgets, by which I mean, they operate the opposite of those module widgets, where you can add as many countdowns, as many accomplishments, as many links, iframes, videos, slideshows, weather. Well, yeah, weather, I guess, but social networks, probably not social networks, but those widgets you can add as many as you'd like and just configure them to display different information. You can have a countdown for graduation, a countdown for prom, a countdown for SATs, ACTs, or finals, and they'll all display uh, those specified information. So let's just go through these and uh, just adding new widgets. I'll have another video for going over what these widgets actually do later. But for now, let's go ahead and open up the text box here. You can single click and choose that next, or just double click to select the widget. And with text boxes, you can either browse for any page that you've already created or create a new page altogether. Um, I'm actually going to create a new page. I don't think I have any pages I'd like to show with this training video. Okay, so typically your widgets will have these three buttons here, this little gear symbol, a little pencil, and a cancel button on it. The cancel button will just delete the widget altogether. The pencil we saw with the main content will actually configure how the layout of this widget is, excuse me. If it's a default blue, basic, basic but borderless, titleless, so you can add a title but that title will be gone, titleless and edgeless, boxless, custom panel or custom to panel. Then we have background transparency. So let me set this to 5% and see if you can spot the difference. Okay, so if you haven't spotted it yet, the background of this is actually, it's not white anymore. I mean it is, but it's only 5% white. Uh, Let me go ahead and configure that again to say 100%. Okay, now it's completely white for this background. So you can change the background transparency as well. And then with this little gear symbol, this is actually going to configure what's inside of this widget here. Let me go ahead and open this up. And you'll see Okay, and you'll see this editor pops up here. And in this editor here, I'll have another video going over this editor more in depth. But you can just add basic content, images, links, tables, iframes, accordions, numbered lists, alignments, bold, italics, underline, source. Again, I'll be going over this later. Um, However, every single widget that you add will have different settings. For example, let me add a new widget here. I'll add a countdown widget. And we've already talked about the countdown module, but it operates the exact same way with the widget, where I specify a date that this is ending, a time this is ending. I could change around the styles as well, just for this one here. Okay, but with calendar, I can't configure or add to the calendar widget. You'll see there's currently no events to display because I don't have any events on this site here, but I can't click into the calendar and start adding new events to this. To add events to this calendar here, I actually have to go to district events and say add a date for the 25th. And I'll say training event there, or training events, that's fine. Okay, there's that training events. Let me refresh. And there it appears in the calendar widget. Okay, so again, adding a calendar widget will not actually, it'll not create a new calendar. It'll not allow you to create new events from the widget. You have to actually go to this district events calendar module. This here's the module. This is the widget. The widget is actually pulling from the module. So just to reiterate, I can add another calendar module or calendar widget, excuse me. It's easy to get mixed up. And you see they're displaying the same information. However, with this, we can change the layout to say slide view, and it changes the display, but it's still the same information. Let's change it to month view. Okay, changes the display, but it's the same information. Okay, so the countdown is, again, what I refer to as a standalone widget. As many countdowns as you'd like. Let me add another countdown here. Okay, same there, but let's increase this by 3 days. Okay, and they're different. Two countdowns look exactly the same, but one has different settings than the other, and you can add as many of those as you'd like. However, with the calendar we saw before, doesn't matter how I configure it, it's always going to display the same information because the countdowns don't pull from a singular source, but the calendar does. And the same is true for news, pulls from the same source, forum, jobs, podcasts, department list, contact info, bookings. And I encourage you to play around with these and figure out how you'd like to actually have this set up. And let me go ahead and show you something else we can do with this. Let's say T-split A, which is one single panel with two columns. And then from here, I can actually drag these around and reorder the information if I wanted to. So you can absolutely configure your home page pretty dynamically. Let me go ahead and log out. And this is what it actually looks like. We have that text box here. It's currently empty. There's nothing inside of it. Upcoming events, and then to calendar. So typically, the logged in view won't look that great because we have all the kind of all the noise with the configurations and the settings flying around. Even the turquoise area is a little unsightly. So I would encourage you to definitely play around with how you'd like this to look, and log out occasionally to see um, how your changes are currently looking with your site. Um, I did all of this, and it took me a good amount of time, but the good amount of time I spent uh, explaining what each thing does, but ultimately only about 5 minutes to make it look this nice. And so yes, I encourage you heavily to play around with the number of widgets. I will have another video up about explaining what each widget does, and then as well as getting this text editor down and formatting your content, things like that. But for the sake of this video, keeping things short, I'll just move on to accomplishments next.